You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better. Put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the second part of What If Deku Enters BoBoiBoy. Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of Spider-Man Greninja MK2BM on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Izuku would now be wearing his shoes as he was at the front door. Did you pack everything? Lunchbox? Extra handkerchief? Notebook? Inko asked her son as she smiled. Akabot would scan Izuku's power watch as the yellow power sphere would check for diagnostic before Izuku leaves. Yes mom, I got everything now, Izuku says with a smile as he looks at his mom. Akabot would finish his scans. So Akabot, when will I be able to reuse my tier 2 power? Izuku asked his best friend as he smiles. A few more days. Remember you can't use your tier 2 power for now or else you'll restart at the very beginning again. You've already had to re-unlock the other 4 elements when it got broken the first time. Only use your tier 1 powers for today and only tier 1, the recalibration for the new power watch is still in process and once it's done you'll be able to use the tier 3 power like Retak Ka, Akabot says to Izuku as he nods. Thanks Akabot, hopefully with this upgrade I'll become more stronger. Izuku says as he smiles as he was ready to leave the house. Izuku honey wait a moment, Inko would briefly stop his son as he was about to leave. Izuku looked a bit confused as he looked at his mom. I'm proud of you sweetie, if your dad is here with Mechabot I'm sure they'll be proud of you as well, Inko says as she smiles at her son. Izuku lets out a bright smile as the door was already open as the sun shine outside the door showing a shining bright light as his power watch was half covered by his UA uniform as the wind blow a bit in his hair as his white hair tip moved a bit. Thanks mom. I'll be back once school's done. I'll see you all later, bye mom, bye Akabot. Izuku would leave the door as he head out as he would go toward the train station as he goes to UA. Time skip. Izuku would arrive at UA as he would enter the prestigious hero school as he would walk his way toward his designated class which was class 1A, 1A, 1A. Where is it? Izuku would walk in the hallway as he looked for the classroom. After a few moments, Izuku would find the classroom as he smiles as he looked at the big tall door as it has the symbol of 1A on it. Wow, the door is huge, Izuku said as he had an impressed look on his face as he looked at the huge door in front of him. Izuku would pray for 2 things, he was hoping that Katsuki would be in another call along with the blue-haired boy from the entrance exam. He hoped that he would see them as he didn't want to get embarrassed again. As Izuku opened the door he hopeful thought went down the drain as he saw Katsuki fit on his desk as the blue-haired boy was trying to make Bakugou put his feet down off his desk. Take your feet off the desk. You're disrespecting school property on your first day, said the blue-haired young man as he talked to Bakugou. Huh? Did your old school put a stick up your butt? Or are you born with it? Katsuki mockingly questioned as he had a smug face as he was being himself as usual. The blue-haired boy would be a bit shocked at first as he calmed back down. I think we got into a wrong start. I'm Tenya Ida from some private high. Ida would now introduce himself to Bakugou. Some. I'm gonna enjoy beating your butt, Katsuki smirked as he had a grunt on his face. Ida would be shocked by the statement. You would threaten me? Your own classmates? Are you sure you're in the right place? Ida questions as Bakugou would ignore Ida. He then saw Izuku outside the door as he looked at him with anger. Izuku classmates. Everyone who is inside the classroom would now look at Izuku as the green-haired boy still smiles. Hello, Izuku said as he had a nervous smile on his face as he scratched his back hair a bit. Ida would start to approach Izuku as he was going to introduce himself. Hello, I'm Tenya Ida from, I heard. Sorry if that came out rude a bit. I'm Izukumidoriya, happy to meet you all, Izuku says as he kept his smile up. Ida would look at Izuku with a bit of a serious look. Midoriya, you must have realized something during the exam. Not only that, but you were the first one who acted during the start of the entrance exam when we didn't know that there was no countdown. Not to mention that you also realized that there was a hidden point system. You are a superior student, Midoriya, Tenya would say at Izuku as he acknowledged his actions. I'm not a superior student, Tenya-san, anyone could have done what I did during the entrance exam. Plus I'm not that special nor superior, Izuku says as he was too modest of himself. Ida was impressed by Izuku's modesty. Hey, I recognize that broccoli-like hair. Hi Midoriya, Izuku would turn around as he saw Uraraka. Hi Uraraka-san, good to see you again. Izuku says as he smiles as he sees his friend again, as he wasn't sure if they are friends now, but Izuku considers her as a friend now. Same to you, can't believe we're in the same class, Uraraka says to him as she smiles. Just before Izuku could say anything, he noticed a yellow sleeping bag on the floor behind Uraraka. If you're here to make friends, leave, said a tired man. The man would come out of the sleeping bag as he would drink a juice pouch as he puts it back inside his sleeping bag. Welcome to the hero course, the man said as he was now standing at the front door. He wears an all-black jumpsuit with a utility belt on him as he also has a gray-like scarves on his neck. He looked like a hobo a bit as he doesn't smell bad. It took you all 8 seconds to quiet down, time is precious. Rational students would understand that, the man said to them. Izuku would look at the man as he thinks he must be a pro. Hello, I'm Shoto Aizawa, your homeroom teacher, Aizawa said to them as everyone looked surprised by the introduction. Now then, put this on and head outside. Aizawa would pull out a UAPE uniform from inside his sleeping bag. Everyone would nod as they head to the locker room and put on their PE uniform. At the teacher lounge. Toshinori would be in the teacher lounge as he would read a file of all of the teachers. I'm UA. UA doesn't follow the normal norms of regular school. Get a terrible homeroom teacher and life is hell, Toshinori thought as he looked at the files as he saw Shoto Aizawa file. Toshinori carefully reads it as he suddenly looked shocked. SHT. Yagi would say as he rushed out of the room as he quickly headed to the open ground behind the school. Scene change at an open field. A quirk appreciation test. Everyone mutters or says as they were surprised by what Aizawa says. But I will miss orientation, sir, Ochiko said as Aizawa looked at his calls. If you want to be on the top, you'll need to stop wasting time, Aizawa would say to his class as he walked a bit towards them. Here at UA we can run things our way. During your time at high school you are prevented from using your quirks during physical tests like this. Aizawa showed his phone as he showed 8 physical tests. He then looks at Izuku. Izuku Midoriya, you managed to get the highest score during the entrance exam. What is your farthest distance? Throw using a softball? Aizawa asked the green-haired teen. About 57.80 meters, sir, Izuku said as he looked at his teacher as if he would catch a softball as Aizawa tossed it to him. I want you to throw that ball inside that circle. Anything goes just as long as it's inside that circle, Aizawa would say to him as Izuku nodded his head. Izuku would walk towards the white circle as he took a deep breath out as he still holds the ball. He then reached into his right wrist as he pressed a button in his watch. Elemental power. Earth. Izuku gym uniform would change into color into brown as he would use his earth elemental power. OFA full cowling, 10%. Izuku would use OFA as there were no green bioelectricity this time. Everyone in the class would be impressed as Katsuki would glare at Izuki as he was beyond pissed at the green-haired boy. Izuku would punch the ground with his 2 hands as a rock-like gauntlet would surround both of his arms. Earth gloves, Izuku says as he would be ready to throw the ball as far as he can as he does a throwing stance. Earth tosses, Izuku would throw the ball as far away as he could as it was nowhere to be seen. Aizawa would pull out his phone as he showed Izuku's score to the class as he got infinity. Izuku looked scared as he just tossed a UA property out of school grounds as he looked at his teacher. "Sensei, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw it that far he then said as he had a nervous laugh as he felt like he would be in trouble soon. Everyone was shocked by Izuku's score as he got the highest score. Aizawa on the other hand would be surprised by this. "The hell are you feeding you kid Amato?" Aizawa thought as he looked at Amato's son as if he was already a monster like his father. "Wow, that looks cool," a red-haired boy said as he was amazed by the power. "This looks fun, I wanna try next," a pink-skinned girl says as she smiles. Aizawa would look at everyone as he seemed a bit mad. "Fun. Then let's make things more interesting. Whoever places last will get expelled from UA," Aizawa says to them as he had a stoic face. Everyone looks shocked by what Aizawa just said. "Sir, you can't do that, this isn't fair," Uraraka says to Aizawa. "Fair? Are power-hungry villains fair? Natural disaster? World-ending calamity? No, the world is full of unfairness, it's a hero's job to combat said unfairness. During your time here at UA we'll be throwing hardship and obstacles at you during your 3 years here. You'll need to earn your place here at UA, this test will be just that. So I want you all to go beyond, plus ultra style," Aizawa would say to the class as he looked at all of them. Everyone was quiet as Aizawa got a point. "I don't like this hazing but, this is UA. The top hero school, so I'll need to pass this test," Ida says in his thoughts as he needs to pass the quirk apprehension test. "Get ready Deku, going to beat you." Katsuki would be ready to ace all of the test as he would prove to every that his number one. Izuku on the other hand would feel like he's so in trouble right now. Great, it's another easy A test all over again. "I'm so doomed," Izuku thought as he remembered the easy A exam of absurd skills for young amateurs test at Tap-Up's tracker and protector of power spheres. First test, 50-meter dash. "Ready set go," a robot says as Ida was up against a green-haired girl. This was Tsuyu. Both teens would use their quirks as Ida got 3.04 second while Tsuyu got 5.58 second. Izuku on the other hand would take notes of everyone's quirks as he still has spare time for his 50-meter dash. "Bakugou and Midoriya, you're up," Aizawa says as Izuku nods as he puts down his notebook. Right elemental power, Izuku's body was surrounded by yellow lightning as his gym uniform changed into yellow and black stripes. Wait, he has wind too? Some of his classmates were shocked as they were stunted by his wind element appearing. With a smile on Izuku's face, he was ready to go. Wind blast. Izuku would blast himself up in the air a few feet as he still smiles. Wind Rider, Izuku would make a small tornado below his body as he flew past the sandbox as he cleared it with ease. Fourth test, side-to-side jump. We see a purple-haired short young man as this was Mineta as he was using his quirk to bounce side to side as he got the highest mark, or so he thought. Izuku would be using his lightning elemental power again plus OFA at 15% as he was moving fast as he can earning the top score. Mineta would fall down to the ground in disappointment as his score got beaten. Fifth test, ball throw. Uraraka would use her quirk to throw the ball as it flew up in the air never returning down. Aizawa would show the score as he got infinity 2. Another infinity. The class would thought as they see the scores. Bakugou, you're up next, Aizawa says as he threw the ball towards Bakugou as he catches it. The ash-blonde teen would walk towards the inner circle as he was ready to throw the ball. Die. Katsuki yelled out as he used a massive explosion as he also yelled die as Izuku would be nervous to see this. Yup, Kakin mad now, the young man thought. Katsuki would get a score of 781 meters. Behind the training area. Toshinori Yagi would be in his buff form as he would watch his successor as he saw him ace 5 of the test. Pew, I was worried for a second that young Midoriya would be in a tight spot. It seems my worries are nothing, Toshinori says in his thoughts as he would now be relaxed. Back at the lounge he saw Aizawa files. Last year he expelled his whole class, which made Toshinori worry because he saw Izuku's name on Aizawa files as it currently listed as Aizawa homeroom teacher. The last of the 3 tests went smoothly as Izuku didn't use his elemental power on the sits up and toe touch, he only used his lightning elemental power on the distance run as he lasted for a couple of minutes as he was last to stop. Alright, now that everyone's done. Here are your results. Aizawa would press a button on his phone as a hologram would show all of the results of the quirk apprehension test. Momo Yaoyorozu first. Shoto Todoroki second. Katsuki Bakugou third. Tenya Ida fourth. Fumikage Tokoyami fifth. Mizo Shoji sixth. Mashireo Ojiro seventh. Eijiro Kirishima eighth. Mina Ashido ninth. Ochako Uraraka 10th. Koji Koda 11th. Rikido Sato 12th. Tsuyu Azui 13th. Yuga Aoyama 14th. Hanta Siro 15th. Denki Kaminari 16th. Kyoka Jiro 17th. Toru Hagakure 18th. Minoru Mineta 19th. Izuku Midoriya 20th. Everyone would be shocked. Why did Midoriya got last as he was the one to ace the test? Sir, this must be a mistake. How could Midoriya got last place? This must be a mistake, Ida asked his teacher, thinking there might be a mistake. That may be true, Ida, but Midoriya here didn't go all out like I said. Aizawa would glare at Izuku as the young boy looked shocked. When you were using that support item, I noticed it had symbols on it. I see 7 symbols and I only see you use 3. Care to explain yourself, Midoriya? Aizawa asked him as his dark eyes would be glued to Midoriya as he looked mincing. Izuku would be unfazed by what Aizawa said as he was ready to explain. You see, Mr. Aizawa, I was only using my elemental power based on which elemental power would be best to use. Kinda like when or how to use someone fire quirk or water quirk during situations like an ice attack or a fire attack. Izuku says as he would explain his reasoning for the test. Aizawa would be impressed by the boy's intellect as he nods. Alright, you have a point. I was assuming you would have to use all 7 of your powers instead of what you just did. The point of this test was to see everyone's skills and capabilities using their quirks so us teacher may know how or what to improve our students. Aizawa explained to everyone as he looked at his class. Midoriya, I want you to take the test again. I want you to use everything you got this time. Use all of your other 4 elements and show me what you got. Aizawa would look at Izuku as the boy nodded. Izuku would nod his head as he was ready to retake the test again. Meanwhile, All Might would still be on the same position as he watches his successor. You can do it, young Midoriya, show them your power. Give it everything you got, All Might says in his thought as he would cheer on for his successor. Sensei, you said time is precious. So this time I won't be holding back. Izuku would press a button in his watch as a yellow circle appears in front of him as 7 symbols would appear on it. Elemental power, Hepta split. Izuku would jump toward the yellow circle as he would enter it. Soon 7 Izukus would come out, each wearing different color clothing as they still wear their UAPE uniform. Everyone would be shocked by what they are seeing. They saw 7 Izuku out in the open area. What's going on? Did he make clone of himself? Zero question as the black-haired bot question. How many quirks does he have? Kirishima says as everyone would be impressed by what they are seeing right now. Aizawa would be shocked too. Just what power did Amato has given to his son? Ha 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 ha, hey Leaf, look at their faces. Ha 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 ha, Win says as he starts to laugh. I know, it's like they saw a ghost, said the lime green clothing Izuku as this is his leaf element. Hey, how about be scare them even more? The red clothing Izuku would say as he had a mischievous smile as this is Izuku's fire element. Wind, fire, leaf. What did I say about pranks? Earth asked them as he would look at the trio troublemakers. Earth, can I go back to sleep? A cyan blue clothing Izuku asked as this is Izuku's water element. You can't go to sleep, we need to do the quirk apprehension test again, said Lightning as he would be serious like always. HMP, I knew this would happen. Let's do this now before Aizawa gets mad at us, the white clothing Izuku would say, as this is Izuku light element. Light's right, we can't split for too long, so we need to do this fast. You all ready? Earth asked the other elements as he was the leader. All 6 Izukus nod as they were ready. Alright, fire, water, and light do the 50-meter dash first. Lightning, wind, and leaf, you'll do the ball throw. I'll also be doing the 50-meter dash, Earth says to them as they agreed. All 7 Izuku would do the test. You're going down, water, fire says as he smirks at his counter-opposite as he smiles. Let's see it then, water says to fire, at the 2 would race. Both elements would use their respective powers, as fire would use his fire to boost his speed while water would create a wave underneath his feet as he rode it like a surfboard. Both elements would get a score of 4.77 seconds. It was Earth and Light next. Ear-T do apologize to you in advance, Light said as he fixed his gloves as he was ready to go. I know my limits, plus I know speed isn't my own best, Earth would smile as the 2 would race. Light speed, Light would be on the other side as he got 1.89 seconds as Earth got 6.79. Wow, that's even faster than before, Kaminari says as everyone was impressed by Light's score. Meanwhile Leaf, Wind, and Lightning would throw the soft ball as far away as they can as Leaf creates a woven leaf sling shot as he got 478.1 meters, Wind would blast the ball with air as he got 579.6 meters as Lightning would throw the ball up in the air as he then used his lightning sword as a baseball bat as he got 783 meters ahead of Bakugou. Time skip. Aizawa would show everyone Izuku's new results during the quick apprehension test. Earth. 50-meter dash, 6.79 seconds, grip strength, repeated braking, standing long jump, over the sandbox, side to side, 50, ball throw, infinity. Distance run, first one to stop, toe touch, cleared, sits up, cleared. Lightning. 50-meter dash, 2.75 seconds, grip strength, 61 kilograms, standing long jump, over the sandbox, side to side, 533, ball throw, 783 meters. Distance run, tie with Light to finish last, toe touch, clear, sits up, clear. Wind. 50-meter dash, 5.97 seconds, grip strength, 61 kilograms, standing long jump, over the sandbox, side to side, 50, ball throw, 579.6 meters. Distance run, fourth to stop, toe touch, clear, sits up, clear. Fire. 50-meter dash, 4.77 seconds, grip strength, 61.1 kilograms, standing long jump, over the sandbox, side to side, 50, ball throw, 679 meters. Distance run, third stop tied with water, toe touch, cleared, sits up, cleared. Water. 50-meter dash, 4.77 seconds. Grip strength, 61.1 kilograms, standing long jump, over the sandbox, side to side, 50, ball throw, 679 meters. Distance run, third to stop tied with fire, toe touch, cleared, sits up, cleared. Leaf. 50-meter dash, 6.04 seconds, grip strength, 61 kilograms, standing long jump, over the sandbox, side to side, 47, ball throw, 478.1 meters. Distance run, second to stop, toe touch, cleared, sits up, cleared. Light. 50-meter dash, 1.89 seconds, grip strength, 61 kilograms, standing long jump, over the sandbox, side to side, 534, ball throw, accidentally destroyed the ball. Distance run, last to finish tied with Lightning, toe touch, cleared, sits up, cleared. Good work Midoriyas, you can stop now, Aizawa said to the 7 Izukus. They then nod as they merge back toward Earth as Izuku is back to normal as he kneels down on the ground as he seems tired. That the longest time I split into 7. Izuku would say as he took a deep breath. Now then, with your current score that puts you in first place, Aizawa said to everyone as he would then change the scoreboard. Minato would fall to the ground as he looked sad. Izuku would stand up as he then slowly approached the boy as he plans to pat his back. Suddenly Minato would yell, "My dream of making my HRM is ruined." Izuku would back away as he didn't want to get involved with him. "Oh, the explosion thing was a lie," Aizawa said to everyone as they were shocked. Izuku would fall to the ground comedically. "I knew it, I had a feeling," Izuku would says as this happened to the Easy A test. "Come on you guy, it's the first day at UA. He wouldn't expel someone, this is just a deception to make us push ourselves," said by a black oxy-haired young lady as this was Yaoyorozu. Everyone in the class would be shocked except for an ash-blonde kid who seems mad. "DKU." Katsuki yelled in anger as he walked towards Izuku. "Tell me, where did you get that stupid watch? Answer me, you DMNFING nerd." Bakugou was about to use his explosion on Izuku, wanting answers. All of a sudden Aizawa's scarf would hold Bakugou in place. "The FIS this SHT. Why can't I use my quirk?" Bakugou roared as his eyes were still glued to Izuku. "I erased your quirk, Bakugou. If you try to hurt another student again, I'll expel you from UA, got it?" Aizawa would warn the ash-blonde boy as Katsuki would stop. Izuku would notice yellow goggles on Aizawa's neck. "Those goggles, you're the erasing hero, Eraserhead, you're an underground hero who stays away from the media and always fights hand-to-hand, canceling the villain's quirks," Izuku says as he smiles in excitement. Aizawa on the other hand would look at the boy as he was impressed by his knowledge. "Not many people know who I'm. Tell me, how did you learn those information?" Aizawa asked the boy. "The internet," Izuku replied with a smile on his face. Aizawa unbind Bakugou with his scarf. "Alright, that's all for today. Your class syllabus would be on your desk, you all may have your free time, go home early or walk around the campus to familiarize yourself. That would be all, class is dismissed," Aizawa says as he would walk away from the class. As he continued to walk he then saw All Might standing behind the building he was hiding earlier. "That was a dirt trick you pulled, Aizawa," All Might says to the pro as he smiles at him. "Whatever do you mean, All Might? Aren't you supposed to be talking to the media or whatnot?" Aizawa states as he would walk away. All Might would watch him as he kept his smile. "Rational deception, my butt," All Might would said as he looked at his successor as he would talk with his other classmates. At a different location we see an old junkyard with lots of trash and old parts. We see a makeshift house as there were lots of breathe on the area a bit as the place was untouched for a long time. Green box-headed person with antennas on his head as he was working on a small device. "Ha ha ha, it's finally ready. Prob, get ready, we're leaving," the box-headed person said as he laughed. "Yes, Mr. Boss," a purple robot says as it responded to his master's command. This was a Dudu, an evil alien from another planet. He was once an energy hunter, now he was a power sphere hunter. He had made a device that would be important for his plans to become the greatest power sphere hunter. "Yes, Mr. Boss," a prob says as he smiles at his Mr. Boss. A Dudu would let out an evil laugh as he was prepared to do his villainous acts. "Once I put this device on Akabot, I'll be the greatest power sphere hunter, ha 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 ha." A Dudu laughed as his evil plan will soon take action. Meanwhile in another area, we see a masked individual would be standing on top of a building. He had a metal mask and a red cape on him. He wears blue clothing and black combat pants as his arm looks robotic. Was this another hero or a villain? "So it begins," the masked individual said as he sensed something was going to happen at Mizurufu City. An event that may change a person's life. The masked individual would leave without a trace as he was gone like the wind. What was his role? Is he a hero? Or a villain? Izuku would be back in the classroom with everyone else as they are now wearing the UA school uniform again. Everyone was talking to one another as they enjoyed their first day. Izuku would be writing in his notebook as he watched everyone use their quirks today in Aizawa-sensei quirk apprehension test. All of a sudden Mina would stand up from her seat. Hey everyone, I got an idea. Let's introduce ourselves and also say our quirks. We haven't done that yet since Mr. Aizawa straight up made us take a test earlier, Mina says to everyone as she smiles. The moment Izuku hears this idea, he then took out his notebook from his bags as he was ready to write on it as he smiles. That's not a bad idea. It would be important to know everyone's names so we can communicate better during our hero training such as combat training and rescue training, Ida says as he agrees to the idea. I would like to go first, Mademoiselle and Monsieur, Ioma says as he stands up. My name is Monsieur Aoyama Yuga, my quirk is Naval Laser, Aoyama would smile as he would wink at everyone. I'm up next, hi everyone, I'm Mina Ashido and my quirk is called Acid. Nice to meet you all, Mina says as she smiles as she introduces herself. Up next was a green-haired girl. Hello, my name is Tsuyu Azui Ribbit. My quirk is called Frog, it allows me to have the characteristics of a frog, Tsuyu says. Ida would stand up. Next was Ida as he would stand right up from his seat. I'm Tenya Ida, my quirk is called Engine, Tenya says as he would. Uraraka would stand up next as she smiled. I'm Uraraka Achiko, my quirk is called Zero Gravity. Uraraka says as she smiles at everyone. I'm Ojiro Mushireo, my quirk is called Tail. It's a mutation type of quirk. Ojiro says as he would introduce himself. Up next was a yellow-haired man with a black lightning bolt in his hair. I'm Denki Kaminari, my quirk is called Electrification. Allow me to emit electricity and I can even become a lightning rod, said Kaminari as he smiles. A red-haired young man would stand up as he smiles. I'm Ijiro Kirishima, my quirk is called Harding, I'm an indestructible shield, Ijiro says as he smiles. Up next was a strange-looking young man as he was feeling nervous. Koji Koda, the young man said as he was nervous. He then sits down as he would be nervous. Up next was a big young man. Hello, my name is Rikido Sato, my quirk is called Sugar Rush, I gain super strength each time I eat sugar. Says to everyone. A man with multiple arms stood up. I'm Mizo Shoji. My quirk is called Dupli Arms. Shoji says to everyone. You look like an octopus, Mineta says to him. Up next was a black-haired girl as she has a jack phone at the end of her ear. I'm Kyoka Jiro, my quirk is called Earphone Jack, Kyoka says as she scratches his back hair. Then a black-haired man stood up as he smiled. The name's Hanta Siro, my quirk is called Tape which I can produce at my elbows, Siro says with a smile on his face. Then a young man with a bird head stood up. I'm Fumikage Tokoyami and my quirk is called Dark Shadow, Tokoyami says to everyone as he sits back down. A half-white and half-red hair man would stand up as he looks at everyone. Shototodoroki, Shoto said with a cold tone in his voice as he took his seat. Up next was an invisible girl. Hello everyone, my name is Toru Hagakure, my quirk allows me to be invisible, Hagakure says as she smiles as no one could see her. Katsuki would just remain in his seat as he was being his usual self. Huh. These extras don't even deserve to hear my name, Katsuki says as some of the class was annoyed at his attitude. Come on Kaken, it's just an introduction. Izuku says as he smiles as he would stop writing in his notebook. Katsuki glared at him as he would be still pissed at Izuku. Shut it Deku. Katsuki yelled to him as Izuku would. Mineta would stand up as he smiled as he took the opportunity. I'm Minoru Mineta, my quirk is called Pop Off, Mineta says to everyone as everyone ignores them. Katsuki would stop yelling at them as he kept glaring at Izuku. He then remembers what happened in Aldera, Izuku took away his own praise from him. Flashback at Aldera Height. Not only did we have 2 students at UA, we also had a student who got first place, the principal said to Izuku and Katsuki as he smiled at the 2 students. Soon both teens would leave the office as they walked down the hallway. Katsuki would then stop Izuku in his tracks as he glared at the boy as he grabbed his shirt as he pinned him into the wall. You better tell me how you cheated Deku. I was supposed to be the only one in this shitty school to get into UA and gain first place, you took that from me so tell me how the F did you cheat? Katsuki yelled at him as he was mad at Izuku. "Kaken, all I did was do what I needed to do." "That's all I did during the entrance exam," Izuku answered Bakugou truthfully as Bakugou knew he wasn't lying. He knew this nerd too well, so Izuku wouldn't tell lies. Izuku's own mom taught him not to lie. Izuku can keep a secret, but lying wasn't his strong suit. Katsuki would let go of Izuku's shirt as he walks off in anger. Izuku would have looked at his old friend as he stormed off. "Looks like Kaken letting me go easy today," Izuku says as he was glad he got the less painful beating. End of flashback. Katsuki would still be glaring at the green-haired boy with anger as he was still mad at the nerd. He looked at Izuku's watch as he glared at it. "Now, I'll find out how you got stupid watch, and I'll make you regret entering UA, Katsuki said in his thoughts as he would make sure to find out Izuku's secrets. Up next was a long black-haired girl with a spiky ponytail that stood out to her right side and stood up from her seat. "I'm Momo Yaoyorozu, my quirk is called creation. I can use my lipids to create any 9 living objects as long as I know what its formula composition is made of," Momo said to everyone as they nodded. Everyone would now be looking at Midoriya as it was his turn as Katsuki didn't want to introduce himself to the rest of the class. Izuku would close his notebook as he let out a smile on his face as his smile was so full of hope and determination. "Hello everyone, my name is Izuku Midoriya, nice to meet you all. As for my quirk, well, I'm technically quirkless." Izuku would let out a small nervous laugh as everyone would be shocked at what he said. Quirkless. "Dude, we saw you used your quirk," Kaminari says as he pointed out the obvious as everyone thinks that Izuku quirk is an elemental-based quirk and an emitter class. "Technically yes, like I'm said, I'm technically quirkless. You see, my quirk is dormant, I can't use it by normal means like how everyone use their quirks in a normal way. My quirk like to be dormant, so hence why I have this watch on me in order to process my quirk," Izuku says as he show his elemental watch to everyone. Everyone looked amazed by the orange watch on Izuku's right wrist as it looked awesome. "Wait, does that mean you use this watch of yours as a support item in order to bring out your quirk?" Momo asked Izuku as she was curious at the watch. Izuku nods his head. "Yup, sure does. When I was 4 I didn't know I had a quirk as the doctor said I was quirkless. I'm still labeled quirkless since my own quirk is very dormant and my x-ray shows I don't have a single joint in my toes. But when I got this watch when I was 4 years old, I was able to use my quirk. It made me who I am today," Izuku says as he smiles as he looks at everyone. Everyone would be impressed and some touched by Izuku's story. Izuku was glad he was able to think of a cover-up story about his elemental powers. "Thanks goodness, it's a good thing Akabot and Grandpa helped me with Th3 explanation," Izuku says in his thoughts. Flashback 2 days ago. "Oh smokes, I forgot about my elemental powers. What should I say if someone asks me about my quirk?" Izuku realized as he was currently at his grandpa's shop as Akabot was with him. "Maybe say that you have an elemental quirk," Akabot says to Izuku as the yellow power sphere was helping his best friend wash the dishes. "That can work, if I didn't use my elemental powers to save Kaken. Plus Yagi-sensei told the pro heroes on the scene that I was using a support item," Izuku says as the memory of himself saving Katsuki was still fresh in his head. Then says exactly that, Hankasa joins in the conversation with his grandson. Izuku looked confused for a moment as a light bulb struck as he got an idea. "That can work. Grandpa said my elemental power is inside me and Akabot said that my power watch is functioning in order for me to use elemental powers," Izuku says. "That's a good idea, I'll help you out with the cover story once we're back home," Akabot says as his voice sounds happy to help Izuku out. "And this is one of the reasons why you're my best friend," Izuku says as he and Akabot fist bump. Hankasa sees this as he lets out a smile as he can see the resemblance of his son Amato and Mekabot when they were still young and was here helping him with his small shop. "Reminds me of the good old day," Hankasa says in his thoughts as he smiles. End of flashback. Aizawa would enter the classroom as he looked at his students as they were still here inside the classroom. "Why are you still all here? Class ended a minute ago." Aizawa asked them as he was here to get his yellow sleeping bag. Sir, we're just introducing ourselves to everyone so we can communicate better, Ida says to Aizawa as he fixes the position of his glasses. Aizawa would just nod as he understood. I see. Don't forget the syllabus that is on your desk. Aizawa would pick up his sleeping bag as he leaves the classroom. Few minutes later everyone would start to pack their stuff in their bags as they all left UA. Izuku would now be outside the campus as he was walking alone. Today sure is awesome, I get to know everyone's quirks. Izuku was holding out a burned notebook in his hands as he smiled at all the notes he took on his first day at UA. Izuku would think for a moment as 4 of his classmates would benefit from Akabot remaining 4 power watches. Oh, Midoriya, are you going to the train station as well? A voice said as Izuku turned around as he saw Ida. Izuku smiles as he was happy to see his new friend. Hey Ida, also to yes. I have to buy groceries at the next station and walk home, then go help my grandpa at his shop once I change clothing, Izuku says as he smiles at his friends. Ida would be shocked at what Izuku said, he was such a kind kid who helps his family. Do you usually help with your family? Ida asked the green-haired boy. Izuku nods as he smiles. Yup, every time I have free time, Saito told him. Hey, are you guys going to the train station? The 2 boys would look back as they saw Uraraka. Hey Uraraka-san, Izuku would say hello to his first friend he made at UA as he smiles. Hi Izuku, and you must be Tenya Ida, right? Uraraka would look at Ida as she smiled. Yes, that's me, Ida nods as he fixes the position of his glasses as he smiles as if he was somewhat serious. The 3 teens would now be outside of UA grounds as they head to the station. Oh, by the way Midoriya, why does Bakugou call you Deku? Uraraka asked Izuku. Izuku would scratch his back hair, not sure what to say. Well, it's an insult that Kaken made for me when we were kids. Deku means useless for him, Izuku says to them. That's unsportsmanlike, Ida says. Well, I've grown used to it. I'm not really bothered by the name call anymore. Guess it's just a part of growing up, Izuku says as he shows a bit of his matured self. Oh, I'm sorry to ask. You know Deku sounds cute and awesome, it's kinda like a hero name, Uraraka says to Izuku as she smiles at him. Izuku would have a sudden idea in his head. He was always called Deku back in Aldera. Izuku would give it a thought as he gives a huge smile on his face. Then call me Deku from now on, Izuku says as he got inspired by the new meaning to the name, Deku. The 3 teens would arrive at the train station as they part ways. Izuku would be at the grocery store buying everything he got from a list that his mom gave him. As Izuku arrives home as he sees his mom watching the news. I'm home, Izuku said as he puts the groceries in the kitchen as he then went to his room. Inko would smile as he looked at Izuku. How was school, sweetie? Inko asked her son as she smiled. Meanwhile Izuku would now be removing his uniform as he was about to wear his casual clothing. School was awesome, first day was great mom, Izuku said as he was about to finish changing. Inko would head to the kitchen as she would put the groceries away. Are you going to your grandpa's shop today? Inko asked as Izuku went down the stairs now wearing his casual clothing. He wears a green jacket with an orange hoodie and a red lining on the side of his arms, he has a black undershirt with an orange symbol. He also has red short gloves and his watch still attached to his right wrist. He wears dark blue jeans with his signature red shoes. Yup, is Akabot there? Izuku asked his mom. Yes, he's already there now. Be careful on your way, sweetie, Inko says as she sees Izuku about to leave again. I will, mom, see you later at dinner time, Izuku says with a happy tone as he leaves. Few minutes later, Izuku would arrive at his grandpa's shop as he start to help his grandpa Kasa with the orders. As Izuku continuously helps out, a familiar black-haired girl would approach the show as she looks at the small shop. The girl would sit down at the front side of the shop table as she put her small purse down on the ground. Welcome to Grandpa Kasa Coco shop, can I take you order? Izuku turns around as she sees Momo in front. Momo would see Izuku's face as she looked surprised. "Midoriya-san, what are you doing here?" Momo asked her fellow classmates, who still looked surprised. She was wearing a pink polo shirt with a white skirt that almost reached her kneecaps. She wore black stocking and a pair of brown shoes. Izuku smiles as he sees his classmates. "Oh hi Yaoyorozu-san. As to your question, I help my grandpa with his shop. You could say I work here part-time. So what brings you here Yaoyorozu-san?" Izuku asked as he smiled looking at his classmates. "I saw some posts on Maskbook that there was a small cocoa shop at a park. I decided to try it out as the reviews are great," Momo says to Izuku as she smiles. "I see, no wonder why we had a customer taking lots of pictures the other day," Izuku says. "Anywho, sorry for the small chit-chat, may I take your order now ma'am?" Izuku smiles as he would treat Momo like any other customer. Momo would think for a minute as she looked at the menu board. "I'll take the Hankasa special hot cocoa please," Momo says to Izuku as she smiles. "Less sugar or no less sugar?" Izuku asked Momo. "I'll take the no less sugar please, I want to try it without the less sugar first," Momo adds as Izuku nods. "Alright, special hot cocoa coming right up, no less sugar coming right up." "Grandpa, we got a special hot cocoa order with no less sugar," Izuku says as he smiles. "Alright," Kasa would nod as he start to make the hot cocoa as Izuku would help out his grandpa. A minute later the hot cocoa was now ready as Izuku gave it to Momo. The hot cocoa looks very presentable. It has a chocolate whipped cream with shredded chocolate and small marshmallows and a chocolate wafer stick. Momo would took a sip as the hot drink was delicious. "It tastes so good," the online reviews weren't joking. "How much is this?" Momo would ask. 550 yen, Izuku answered as it was cheaper than any regular hot cocoa in some stores. "It's quite cheap. I must say this is quite good, the taste is amazing and the texture of the chocolate whipped cream is soft." Momo adds as she enjoyed the drink. "Glad you like it," Izuku says as he notices a familiar face coming towards the shop. "Deku-kun, what are you doing here?" Uraraka asked as she looked at Izuku as he stood inside the cocoa shop. Uraraka wears a pink jacket with a black undershirt. She wears short pants that reach her kneecaps as she also has blue shoes on. "Izuku is working here part-time to help his grandpa's shop," Momo answered as Izuku muttered, "That was my line." "That's kind of you Deku-kun," Uraraka says as she smiles. "Uraraka, you should try their hot cocoa, it's amazing," Momo says as to her fellow classmates. "Actually I was planning on ordering the special ice cocoa," Uraraka says as she smiles. "Got it, Grandpa, one special ice cocoa please," Izuku says. "Alright, coming right up," Hankasa would start to make the ice cocoa drink. Meanwhile another familiar face walked up to the shop as the person sat down. "Can I have an apple juice please?" a voice said as it was Tokoyami. Izuku turns around as he sees another classmate of his. Tokoyami would wear a all-black attire as the Dark Raven took his seat, not noticing Izuku, Momo and Uraraka just yet. "Oh hi Tokoyami, alright I'll go ahead and make your order," Izuku says as he starts to make the apple juice. "Midoriya." Tokoyami was surprised to see his classmates as he saw Momo and Uraraka sitting at the other table as he thinks this must be a small class gathering. "I thought this was a cocoa shop," Momo asked as the menu only had cocoa-based drinks and food. "It is, we make other drinks for people who aren't allowed to eat chocolate like people who have animal-based quirks. So Akabot says to add other drinks so they can enjoy and have a great time in the shop while enjoying the scenery," Izuku tells them as he gives Tokoyami his drink as well as Uraraka drink. "Akabot? Who's he?" Uraraka simple asked as a yellow spherical robot would float in the air. "Hello, I'm Akabot," Akabot says with a happy tone as he looks at everyone. Everyone was surprised to see a robot in front of them. "It's a cute robot," Uraraka says. "Amazing, what kind of technology these robots possess in order to hover above ground. Momo would question it as she would be intrigued by the spherical robot design. I see most of you guys are here, a voice said as it was Ida. Ida was wearing his training clothes as this was the same clothing he wore when he partook in the UA entrance a few months ago as Ida wears his glasses. Oh hi Ida, what brings you here? Izuku asked the speeding base quirk user as she smiled at his friends. I'm here to do a little bit of training. Also, do you by any chance sell water? I ran out earlier in the middle of running here without the use of my quirk, Ida says as he fixes the angle of his glasses. Yup, sure do, here you go. Izuku would give Ida a bottle of water as Ida would pay for the drink. Thank you, I see this is where you help you grandpa. Ida would look at the small round shaped show as he smiles. Izuku nods. Yup, this is my grandpa's show. Hankasa Cocoa Shop. Izuku would say the shop's name as he smiled. Izuku, we ran out of ice, can you please buy some at the nearby store? Kasa would ask his grandson to buy ice. How many grandpa? Izuku asked. 5 ice bags should do. We've just got ourselves a dozen pre-orders, Hankasa would say. Got it Gramps. Izuku smiles as he puts his thumbs up ready to buy the ice. Do you need help on crying the ice? Ida asked as he was ready to help. Sure, more help would be nice. Izuku smiles for the extra help. Well, help out too. Uraraka adds, ready to help out a friend. I shall also lend a hand. I like to try the ice cocoa next, Momo adds as she thought the farther they got the ice, the sooner she got to taste it. Tokoyami stood up as he looked at everyone. I will also help, the shop was the only shop I could find that sells apple juice, Tokoyami says. Izuku would smile at everyone as he was thankful for the upcoming help from his classmates. Thanks everyone, Izuku says. The group of 5 would head out as they went to buy the ice. Meanwhile in the distance we see a Dudu ready to strike. Phase 1 is done, time for Phase 2 prob, a Dudu says as his plan was going smoothly. I'm Mr. Boss, Prob would give a salute as he said with a joyful tone. A Dudu would then sneak towards Hankasa's shop as he would remain to be unseen, unaware of the danger. Akabot, can you please clean the front table? Kasa would ask Akabot as the yellow robot nodded. Akabot would clean the front table as a Dudu would appear out of nowhere. Got you, a Dudu would quickly grab Akabot as he then deactivates. Akabot SOS signal and would start to run away with Prob. Hankasa was about to chase a Dudu as his back suddenly got hurt. Oh, my poor back, he then said as he would grab his phone as he would call Izuku. Meanwhile, Izuku, Ida, Uraraka, Momo, and Tokoyami would walk their way back to the shop as they each carried ice bags. Thanks for the help you guys, Izuku would say again as he appreciated their help. Anytime, plus helping a friend out is great. Uraraka says as she smiles. Izuku's watch started to ring as Izuku looked at it. It's Grandpa. Izuku saw the call as he was going to answer. Your watch has a call function that's interesting, Momo says as she was interested in the advanced technology that Izuku has. Not only those it helps his dormant quirk, it also helps receive calls. What is it Grandpa? Izuku asked. Izuku, Akabot has been taken by a Dudu. He's headed toward the exit, Hankasa says as he still has his back pain. Izuku would drop the bag of ice as he would start to run toward a Dudu. Hey Izuku, where are you going? Ida yelled out toward the young green-haired man who was running away. Something must have happened, let's follow Izuku and help him out, Uraraka said as everyone agreed. Izuku would see a Dudu and Prob as they were about to escape. Stop right there a Dudu, Izuku yelled out as he saw Akabot was being grabbed by a Dudu. Hahaha, it's too late Izuku. I already have Akabot. Soon I will have the rest of Akabot's remaining power watches, hahaha, a Dudu laughed as Izuku. Izuku would grit his teeth as he was about to use his elemental power. Stop right there, if you move and turn into any element I'll shoot you, a Dudu would point his gun toward Izuku as the young man would stand in one place. Just then Izuku heard his friend behind him as they approached the situation. Izuku was about to tell them to get back, but all of a sudden Akabot would start to glow as someone had activated his stored remaining power watch. Just then Akabot would emit a glowing light as it would hit Ida, Uraraka, Momo and Tokoyami. Izuku would look back as he saw his classmates gain the remaining power watches. "What's his goings-on?" Momo asked as she saw a watch in her right hand. Everyone would notice a watch in their hands as they were surprised to see this. "No, those powers were supposed to be mine," Aduda yelled out as he fired his gun as it was headed towards Ida. Just before the shot was about to land on Ida, Ida would now be on the other side of the group. "What the? How did I get here? I haven't even used my quirk yet," Ida questioned as he looked shocked. "Everyone stay calm," Izuku would say as he would make everyone calm as Aduda fired another shot. Izuku would use his earth elemental as he created a barrier to protect his classmates. What's going on? Why am I floating? I'm not even using my quirk, Uraraka says as she would start to float up in the air. "Prob, activate your battle system. We're gonna take their powers," Adudu says. I'm Mr. Boss." Mode change, Mega Prob would turn into his giant mech as the purple robot would be ready his weapons. Adudu would now be inside Prob still holding Akabot from the inside. Prob would fire multiple shots of rockets as it was aimed toward the group. To protect the others as a missile was about to hit Momo and Tokoyami. Momo would reach her hand out as a beam of green light was fired from her palm as one of the rockets changed into solid metal as it didn't explode. "That wasn't my quirk, what was that?" Momo questioned as she looked shocked. Meanwhile a black sphere would cover Tokoyami as he was protected. "This is not my quirk," Tokoyami says as the black barrier disappears. Izuku would now need to rush things, he needed to save Akabot and explain what's going on. "I need to finish this. Elemental power, triple split," Izuku yelled out as he split into three as lightning, earth, and wind come out. "Prob, we need to run away now," Adudu says to his minion robot. As Prob and Adudu were about to run away, Earth blocked him as he used his earth wall as wind would create a powerful wind blast making Prob fall down the ground. Lightning would jump from the air above as he prepares to hit Prob, "Lightning strike," Lightning yelled out as he hit Prob as he then saved Akabot. "This isn't over Izuku," Adudu says as he would run away. Izuku fused back to normal as he looked at everyone. "I can explain what's going on," Izuku said to them as he nervously laughed. "Time skip. You're telling us that Akabot gave us this power watch unexpectedly and we have gained new powers and this isn't a quirk?" Momo asked as Izuku nodded. "Yup, that's another way to put it," Izuku says to them as he smiles. "How can that be possible? Who can Akabot give us powers?" Ida asked them as he questioned Izuku. "It's hard to explain to be honest," Izuku says to Ida, not sure what to say. Meanwhile Akabot receives a message from Tapups. Izuku would read the message as he looked at it as the message regarding the new wielder of the remaining power watch. "But I can show you the reason why. Follow me you guys," Izuku says as he smiles. Ida, Uraraka, Momo, and Tokoyami looked confused as they followed Izuku. They then arrived back at the cocoa shop as they took a seat at the front table. "I thought you said you would show us why Akabot can give these strange new powers," Momo says, not sure what's going on. "You'll see, for now please sit down and brace yourself," Izuku would look at his grandpa as he smiles. "Hey grandpa, can I get the cocoa?" Izuku said to his grandpa as his friends looked confused. "Alright then," Kasa would start to press the buttons in his cash register in a specific order. "Wait, hang on, what cocoa ha'awawia?" Tokoyami questioned as soon he would start to fall down the sit with the rest of the group as they entered a huge slide as they went down to the ground. As the group safely got down, they were now in a huge basement room as they saw advanced technology around them. "Welcome to Top Up Station Earth," Izuku says as the light around the room activates as a round table would activate as multiple holograms would be shown. "What is this place and what does TAPUP stand for?" Ida asked. Everyone was shocked to see the whole area as they would be intrigued by the advanced technology. I can answer that question of your young Ida, a voice said as a small white figure with a suit came out as he stood on top of the table as it was Nizu, the principal of UA. Principal Nizu. Ida, Uraraka, Momo, and Tokoyami would be shocked to see the principals at UA standing in front of them. Hello Admiral Nizu, Izuku would say as he did a strange salute. Everyone would look at Izuku as they just followed what the green head was doing. At ease everyone, no need to salute. Though I was astonished that Akabat's remaining power watches are given to my students, nonetheless this is most interesting, Nizu says as he took a seat at the front single seat. Sir, if I may ask what is going on? Momo questioned. And what is tap-up sir? Ida asked again. To simplify all of your questions. Tap-up stands for Tracker and Protector of Power Spheres. An organization created to track down and save alien spherical robots that possess powers similar to Quirk's, Nizu would answer. Everyone except for Izuku and Nizu would be shocked to hear this as they said aliens. By aliens as in UFO and laser guns? Uraraka asked Nizu. Yes young Uraraka, those types of aliens, Nizu says. Hang on, who can we be sure aliens do exist? Tokoyami, questioned as a holographic screen activates as it shows two people dressed in proper attire. The new recruits are very perceptive, a person with red skin says as this man was Admiral Tarong. Next to him was a green box alien that looked like the guys that attacked the group earlier. Hey, that's the guy that attacked us, Uraraka would point at the box-headed alien. That's not him Uraraka, that Commander Kokochi, he's a good guy, Izuku says. Yeah, this one looks different. The one Izuku took down was taller and thinner. No offense sir, Ida pointed it out. Offense taken. We cubulus look alike as we are all box-shaped heads. My name is Kokochi, Commander Kokochi, Kokochi says as he had an exaggerated dramatic flair which didn't impress the young teens. And I'm Admiral Tarong. One of Tap-Up's high-ranking admirals, Tarong says as he introduces himself. Now then, Tarong would let off a cough as he looked at Izuku. Lance Corporal Izukumidoriya, why did Akabat give the remaining power watch to this untrained student? Tarong yelled out at the green-haired boy as Izuku got jump-scared a bit. I'm not sure sir. All I know is that something must have activated Akabat's fail-safe sir, Izuku says. Tokoyami would look at Izuku. What is this fail-safe exactly? Tokoyami questioned. Well, if Akabat were to be endangered or about to be destroyed, he would send the remaining 4 power watches to the people who are close to his vicinity and have obtained a proper scan to see if they were worthy to wield the powers. I was in control of the situation but the fail-safe activated prematurely as Akabat wasn't about to get destroyed, Izuku answered. I see, this must be a force activation then, Nizu would say. No one has access to Akabat's system other than Dad and Admiral's mask mana, Izuku would point out. Silence would fill the room for a solid minute. If that is the case then we do not take the powers from them. Nizu, I trust you'll take care of the new recruits. Tarong asked Nizu. If they are willing to, but I do not see why we should take the powers away from they are all aspiring heroes of planet Earth, Nizu says. Wait, can we join? Momo asked. Yes, only if you are all willing to, if not you are still on the hero course without any changes, Nizu says. I want in, it would be a good experience to go on a space mission and other stuff that will make us better heroes, Uraraka says as she smiles. Indeed, not only that we can also train hard and learn on the job, so I too wish to join. Ida would say. I would also like to join. This new power is strange and I want to learn this new power, Tokoyami adds. I wish to join. It would be helpful to learn our new powers along with our quirks under your supervision, Principal Nizu, Momo said. Nizu would give a smile as he looked at them all. Alright, welcome to Tap-Up's cadets Tenya Ida, Momo Yaoyorozu, Uraraka Achiko, and Fumikage Tokoyami. We are glad for you to be on board, Nizu says as he smiles. If it were me I would have made you do the TAPUPS Easy A exams before joining TAPUPS, but considering you're already in UA and your teacher is the infamous expel teacher of UA, so do not get expelled in his class or I will strp you off the ranks in TAPUPS, Tarong would say with a very powerful tone. Is the exam named Easy A because people pass with high scores? Uraraka asked as she was curious. No, Easy A means exam of absurd skills for young amateurs, it's a test similar to Aizawa-sensei quirk apprehension test. Izuku answered Uraraka's questions. Precisely, hence why young Izuku here passed the exam with a high score, hence why he is now a lance corporal. One of our youngest, Nizu adds as he smiles. I see, Midoriya is higher than us considering we are cadets. Will be also in your hand Midoriya, Ida says. Oh, before I forget, Izuku, I would leave the explanation to you considering you did study the remaining power watches inside of Akabot along with some of the rules and regulations, and also do kindly show them around the facility. I must be going, I have lots of things that need to be done on both sides of my own end. Take care everyone. Nizu says as he was about to leave. Yes, Admiral, Izuku would give a salute as he saw Nizu leaves. Izuku would look at his friends as he smiled. Alright, guess we'll start at basics, Izuku would give a smile to his friend as he was ready to explain their new powers. Location change at Adudu's base. Adudu would arrive back at his evil lair as he would sit on a table. Sorry if the mission was a complete failure, Prob says to his MSTR as Adudu was still smiling. It's alright, we may not be able to acquire new powers but we do have something that will make us the greatest power sphere hunter, Adudu would activate the computer behind him as he laughed. I put a control chip inside Akabot hardwares. Now each time they use Akabot teleportation powers we will be able to follow them into the same location and capture their rescued power spheres, ha 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 ha. Adudu would laugh at the success of his other plan. That's great, Prob would praise his MSTR as the purple robot was happy. Now then let us wait and see where they will go, Adudu says as the waiting game begins. Are you certain about this, Amato? Mask Mana would ask his friend if this was a really good idea or not as he would talk to Amato via video call. Meanwhile Amato was about to sit on his chair as behind him was 3 power spheres as Mechabot had turned into his armor mode as Amato had mechanized with him. I'm certain Mask Mana, plus Izuku will need help. He'll face greater threat. Having some allies with him will be great for the protection of Earth from alien threats, Mato answered as he took a seat as he was about to take off. Very well then. Now on to your next mission, I do hope you're ready Michimoto. Mask Mana would then send him to the next location of Amato's mission. Amato would look at a picture of his son and his wife Inko as he then smiles. I'll see you too soon, Amato says as he would fly his ship as he would fly toward the vast empty void of space. Izuku would show the new members of TAPUP Station's Earth to the underground facility. They have a cafeteria where they can get a bite to eat, a database where a power sphere called DataBot was placed at a high voltage accelerator for faster processing of the gathered data they want to get, and also a training area where they can freely use their quirks and practice their newly acquired power. That should be it for the tour of the underground station. Any questions? Izuku smiles at everyone as he had just finished the tour around the TAPUP station. Uraraka would raise her hand like a bamboo shoot. About the power watch, what does it exactly do? You said earlier that Akabot gave us powers. Do you know what they are? Uraraka asked the green-haired young man. I too wish to know this power if you don't mind Midoriya, Ida says as he smiles. Izuku would smile back at everyone as he looked at them. Sure, I think I know power watches you guys have based on what Akabot said to me. Izuku would look at Uraraka as saw a pink watch. Uraraka, you have the gravity manipulation watch. It allows the user to manipulate the gravity on a surrounding area or themselves. It can make you fly and give you superhuman strength, Izuku would say to Uraraka. Wow, this is so cool. Wonder what amazing thing I can do with this power alongside my quirk. Uraraka would question as she would have thought of some of the ideas of using the newly acquired power. Izuku would then notice a blue watch with yellow bits. Ida, you have the time manipulation. It can make you and anyone slow down or move fast, kinda like a fast forward and slow motion. With your quirk, you'll be twice as fast as before, Izuku says. Ida would adjust his glasses. I see, I shall use this power for heroic reasons, Ida says with a serious yet calm tone. What about mine? Momo asked Izuku as the young man saw a green watch. Momo, you have the molecular transformation manipulation. From what Akabot told me, it can turn anything the user wants except for living things. It can turn objects into another material, like turn a piece of paper into a tin chocolate bar, and can also turn it back to normal, Izuku says. So you're saying I can make just about anything if I change the molecular compound? Can I test it out? Momo would ask. Sure, go ahead, Izuku would nod. Momo would then use her quirk as she would create a small pipe at the palm of her hand. She then hold it as she tries to use her newly acquired power. The small pipe would turn into a chocolate wafer as it work. Amazing, with this I don't need to worry about my quirk drawbacks, I can turn anything to food and other material I need. I won't disappoint anyone, I'll do my best, Momo says as she was grateful for the power. Wow, talk about getting pumped. That the spirit, Izuku would give her his signature thumbs up as he smiled. Tokoyami looked at his watch as he approached Izuku. Midoriya, I would like to know what power this watch possesses. Tokoyami asked. Izuku would take a glance as he saw a white watch with purple on it. Tokoyami, you have the Shadows Manipulation Watch. It can make shadow creatures and other stuff. It's like your quirk Dark Shadows, but you can create a shadow tiger or a Garuda, Izuku would answer Tokoyami. Tokoyami would have a faint smile on his face. Rival in the dark, Tokoyami said as he looked at the watch. Everyone would be confused at what Tokoyami just said. Izuku kept smiling as he said, hee hee, awesome, with a cheerful tone. The next day came as it was just a normal day at UA. Class 1A was having a normal class as Present Mike teaches English, Midnight would teach art history, Cementos teaches modern literature, and Ectoplasm as the math teacher. Izuku was happy that he has a new math teacher, though he does miss his old math teacher at Aldra. Papa Zola may be goofy, but when it comes to math he was an amazing teacher. Class would end as everyone was at the cafeteria, as Izuku would be at a table as he sat with Ida, Uraraka, Momo, and Tokoyami as they had lunch. The katsudon here tastes good. Lunch rush sure is amazing, Izuku would say as he smiles as he enjoys the taste of the katsudon. The rice tastes good too, Uraraka would chime in. Lunch is good and all, but we should really talk about what to do for our heroics class. Ida would say as he would stop eating as he talks. I have to agree with Ida, we won't be able to use this during heroics class. Momo would point the watch at her wrist. Except for Midoriya, since he has an excuse already, Tokoyami says as he does have a point. Izuku would just give a normal laugh. Well, it's not just me, Uraraka can use her power watch a little bit, and with Ida, Izuku would say with a quiet tone. Midoriya also has a point, Tokoyami says again. If it makes everyone feel better I won't be using my power watch, Uraraka would add. Same goes for me, Ida would also say. You guys can, we just need to find a good excuse. Say like a quirk evolution, Izuku said as he looked at everyone. Now that Deku-kun mentions that, we can start using our power watch once we do give a strong alibi, Uraraka says with a cheerful tone. Everyone would agree with the idea as they planned to lay low with their new powers. Few minutes passed and everyone was in the classroom as they waited for the next teacher to come for their heroics class. Just then a muscular person would stand outside the doorway as the door opened. I'm here, a voice said as the #1 hero of Japan, All Might. Coming through the door like a hero, the symbol of peace would say as he entered the classroom with style, as everyone inside the classroom was awestruck by the appearance of the #1 hero. Can't believe it's really All Might, Denki said as he smiled. This year is going to be epic and manly, Kirishima adds with a huge smile on his face. All Might wearing his Silver Age costume ribbit, Tsuyu pointed it out as she smiles. Some of the class would be feeling goosebumps as All Might walked towards the front of the class still smiling. Welcome to the most important class at UA. Our heroics class, as I like to call it, Heroing 101, you'll all learn the basics to becoming a pro hero. Let's get to it, shall we? Said All Might as he would have his signature smile on his face. Everyone was excited to start today's heroics class. For today's lesson, is combat training. All Might says, still smiling. Katsuki would lets out a huge smirk on his face as he smiles. Fight training. Katsuki roared in excitement. Actually combat. Izuku would be surprised yet a bit excited for today's class. One of the keys of being a hero is, All Might would point at the wall as it then showed a suitcase with numbers on its front and back side. Everyone would roar with excitement to see their hero costume. Izuku would clench his right hand as he smiles. Awesome, he then says with a smile. Now then, go ahead to the changing room and meet me at ground beta once you're done changing, All Might says as he smile. Scene change plus small time skip. They say that clothes make the pros, young ladies and gentlemen. Now stand that proof. All Might would look at the entrance to ground beta as he saw all his students coming out from the entrance as they wore their hero costume. Take this into your heart, from this moment on, you are all heroes in training, All Might declared as he saw everyone wearing their amazing hero costume. Splendid look everyone. Shall we get started, you bunch of zygotes? All Might asked as he would say Gran Torino's catchphrase. Hey, where Deku-kun? Uraraka asked as he looked around as he didn't see Izuku. The shitey nerd must have run away, tail behind him, Katsuki snarked as he mocked Izuku for not coming. Sorry I'm late, Izuku said as he came out of the entrance. Izuku would wear his hero costume as it consists of a green jacket with a white hoodie and orange and red lines. He also has black armor with yellow bits serving as his main body protection and undergarments. He wears red gloves that reach his upper arm that has white end with blue on it. Izuku has a red utility belt along with his red shoes that have been modified with metal soles and knee guards. Izuku would also have a retractable mask and bunny-like ears that look like All Might hairstyle as it looks cute on him. Izuku would retract the mask and bunny as he lets out a smile as he would adjust the watch on his right wrist. Wow, Deku-kun, you look awesome. Wish I had specified my costume. Uraraka says. Uraraka would says as he wore a skin-tight suit. What? You look awesome, Uraraka-san, you look like an astronaut, Izuku says with a smile on his face as he was a bit oblivious not noticing Uraraka's figure. I love this school, Mineta would say as Izuku looks at him with a confused look on his face. All Might would notice the bunny-like ears on Izuku's head as it looks like his two hairlines. God, that looks so obvious, All Might says as he looked at his successor. He then coughed. Now let's get started everyone. All Might says as he then looks at everyone with a smile. Sir, will we be fighting the same robot for today's combat training? Ida would question as he was wearing a white-like armor with exhaust pipes on his back. Izuku would notice Ida's hero costume. Wow, that's Ida's hero costume, awesome, Izuku would say in his thoughts as he was amazed by the hero costume. Not quite. Today's combat training, you'll be facing each other, all of you will be splitting into teams of 2 people. All Might says as he smiles. Sir, will you be expelling us if we fail? How far can we hurt someone? Is my cape amazing? Some of the students questioned. No, I won't be expelling anyone. Also not severely hurting your fellow classmates. And yes, your cape is amazing, All Might answered all of their questions as he smiled. He answered all of their questions. All Might awesome, Izuku says in his thoughts. Now that I've answered all of your questions, time to explain today's combat training. Like I explained, you'll be split into teams of 2 people. You'll be randomly grouped by lots and also be grouped either heroes or villain. As for the scenario for today's class, a group of villains are inside the building hiding a bomb, the heroes are tasked to find the bomb while the villain team is tasked to defend the bomb. The heroes have 15 minutes to find the bomb before it goes off. All Might says as he smiles as he explains the formation of all the teams and the scenario of the combat. He then drew lots as all the teams were formed. Izukumidoriya and Ochiko Uraraka Team A. Shototodoroki and Mizo Shoji Team B. Momo Yaoyorozu and Minoru Mineta Team C. Katsuki Bakugou and Tenya Ida Team D. Yuga Aoyama and Mina Ashido Team E. Rikido Sato and Koji Koda Team F. Denki Kaminari and Kyoka Jiro Team G. Fumikage Tokoyami and Tsuyu Azui Team H. Mashireo Ojiro and Toru Hagakure Team I. Ijiro Kirishima and Hantasiro Team. Uraraka would look at Izuku. Looks like we're a team Deku, Uraraka says as she smiles as he would look at Izuku. Awesome, let's do our best Uraraka-san, Izuku would give her a thumbs up. For the first group to fight will be Team A versus Team D, All Might says. Izuku's face would look a bit shocked as he looked at the teams as he saw Team D was composed of both Ida and Bakugou. Oh man, this is such bad luck, Izuku thought as he saw Bakugou's smirk. Now that's done, Team D, get ready to set up which floor you want the bomb to be placed at. Both teams have 30 minutes to prepare. Good luck, All Might smiled at the class as he saw young Bakugou and young Ida enter a building. Izuku and Uraraka would be waiting outside the building as they looked at the blueprint of the building's floor. There's 6 floors, and we have 15 minutes to find the bomb. We don't know what the bomb looks like since it can be either big or small, not to mention our opponent are Ida and Kaken. Knowing Kaken is going to be after me, I should probably brainstorm a strategy to fight him. Izuku starts to mutter as Uraraka could barely keep up. Ah, Deku-kun, I can't keep up what you're saying, Ochiko says as he taps his shoulders. The green-haired boy would nervously laugh. Sorry about that, I was thinking of a plan. Anywho, I got a rough idea. I know Kaken too well, he's going to be after me, so here's the plan. Izuku would explain his plan to Uraraka as she understood. Alright, I understood the plan. Don't worry, we can do this, Uraraka would give a smile as she and Izuku fist bump. Meanwhile inside the building Bakugou and Ida would place the bomb down. Ida would look at Bakugou as he saw him about to leave. Bakugou, where are going? Ida asked the ash-blonde young man. Guard the bomb you extra, I'm going to fight they shitey nerd, Katsuki would tell Ida with a somewhat annoyed tone. Wait a moment, we need to plan this out, we can't just go head straight without a plan, Ida protested as Katsuki ignored the blue-haired young man as he walked away. Small time skip. 30 minutes passed. All Might would speak to the comms as he was connected to both of the teams. Now then, both teams begin, All Might announced as Izuku and Uraraka entered the building. All of the class watched as the hero team entered the building. Why hasn't Izuku transformed into one of his elements? Kaminari noticed this as the class kept watching. Maybe he's waiting for the right time to turn into one of his elements. We don't know the full extent of his quirk after all, Tsuyu adds. Young Midoriya, just what are you planning to do? All Might would wonder as he doesn't know Izuku's plan. As Izuku and Uraraka reached the second floor, Izuku would turn the dial of his watch as he was preparing to initiate his plan. On my signal, you go ahead and run straight ahead, Izuku looked at Uraraka as she nodded. Deku, get the H out and fight me, you good-for-nothing waste of space, Katsuki yelled as he knew that Izuku and the other girl were hiding from him. Elemental power, Izuku would come out from his hiding spot as he pressed a button from his power watch. Die, Katsuki would send a barrage of explosions toward the green-haired boy as smoke filled the hallway. Bakugou would put his guard up as he was ready to fight Izuku. Just then he could feel something coming in his way as he would put his palm up toward Izuku's direction. All of a sudden a blast of water would hit his face as he was momentarily blinded. Fire punch, a red clothing Izuku would come out of the smoke as he rushed behind Katsuki as he punched him from behind as he pushed him back towards the smoke. Katsuki was caught off guard as he noticed 2 people moving past him. Just as he was about to hit the 2 unknown people, he was then grabbed by the left hand and got slammed into the ground. As the smoke cleared, Katsuki would see a cyan blue clothing Izuku next to a red clothing Izuku. Nice arm throw water, said the red clothing Izuku as he would let out a grin on his face as he cracked his knuckles. This was Izuku fire element. Yeah, but it won't make Kaken give up that easy. We need to be on guard, Water replied to Fire. Katsuki would aim his right arm at Water as he used his quirk. Fire would get in the way as he would put himself in front of Katsuki's explosion as he took the hit. Bakugou would now be a few feet far away from the two Dekus in front of him. He noticed Fire still smiling as he took a direct blast from his quirk. Katsuki would glare at the fire element as he was pissed. If you're wondering why I'm smiling, guess what, your explosion won't work. I'm used to your constant explosion. Not only that, I can't be affected by the heat of your explosion since I'm fireproof, so you won't be able to make me get burns like you did when we were kids. Get ready, Kaken, you're gonna face the ultimate tag team duo, Fire declared as he smirked as he would be ready to fight Katsuki with Water. Katsuki would be fuming with rage as he wants to kill Deku. DKU, how dare you challenge me? Katsuki roared as he rushed forward as he was prepared to hit either Izuku's with a right hook. As Katsuki moved forward, Fire would be in front of Water as he grabbed Katsuki's right arm as he arm locks him. Water, Fire yelled at his opposite counterpart. Water swiftly moved toward the other direction as his right hand was covered in water. Water slap, Water would hit Bakugou with his water attack as the ash blonde boy gloves are wet. Fire would toss Bakugou into a wall as he smirked. Good luck making powerful explosion, Fire says as he kept smirking. Bakugou would get up as he tried to use his quirk the normal way as his explosions are less powerful indeed. The hell did you do, Deku? Katsuki screamed as he looked at both Izuku's. I've soaked your gloves with water. I know from first-hand experience that your quirk works, the soaked gloves won't make your palms sweat more. The moment you've split from Ida made our plan work like a charm, Water answered Bakugou with a calm tone. Bakugou grew mad as he remembers something that Izuku did during their quirk apprehension test. He can split into 7 people. Flashback. The plan is that I'll split into 3, I'll use my lightning, fire, and water elements for when I split. Izuku said to Uraraka. Into 3? Would it be efficient to just split into 7 so we can search for the bomb faster? Uraraka asked Izuku. True, but my energy would be greatly consumed if I do that, plus the building doesn't have enough room for me to fight freely, plus our goal is to capture the bomb, we can't risk destroying the building nor damage it anyway, Izuku answered Uraraka. I see, but why choose those 3 elements? Uraraka asked again. My fire element has great tolerance to Kaken heat, while my water element can counter his quirk. I know Kaken will come after me, so our plan is to split into 2 groups. You and Lightning will find the bomb. Lightning may be able to counter Ida's speed, while Fire and Water are going to stop Bakugou from reaching the bomb location, Izuku says to Uraraka as he smiles. Alright, I understood the plan. Don't worry, we can do this, Uraraka would give a smile as she and Izuku fist bump. End of flashback, with Lightning and Uraraka's side. Looks like both Fire and Water are doing a great job, Lightning says as he would be with Uraraka as they search for the bomb. Lightning had a somewhat serious look on his face as he helps Uraraka search for the bomb. Are you sure you should be here with me? Uraraka asked Lightning. Those 2 will be fine, right now we need to find where the bomb is. If my hunch is correct, Ida should be there too, Lightning says with a serious tone in his voice. Uraraka nods as she follows Lightning. Alright, let's go. Both teens would head up to the next floor in search of the bomb. With Fire and Water's side. So you know about my quirk. Since you're such a nerd, I bet you also know this. Katsuki would stand up as he reached into his left arm as he held his support gear as it was attached into his arm. My sweet glance makes my explosion, and this support item gonna take you out, Katsuki would smirked as he glared at Fire and Water. Young Bakugou, stop, if you use that attack, you classmates will get hurt, All Might says through the comms as he warned Bakugou to stop. Not unless he dodges, Katsuki would smirk as he support item at Izuku. Both elements would have a somewhat shocked face. Kaken wait, Fire moved forward as Water would follow him behind as he tried to grab him. Die DKU. Katsuki would pull the pin from the grenade-shaped gauntlet as a huge explosion was fire inside the building as the outer walls were destroyed as the whole building would shake from the blast. With All Might and the rest of the class. Is Midoriya bro okay? What was Bakugou thinking? The class started to talk as they watched the fight at the observation room. Young Bakugou, use that attack again and I will end this match. All Might's voice sounded serious as he warned Bakugou one last time. With fire and water's side. Yeah, Bakugou would shrug as didn't care. His only goal in this match is to beat Izuku and teach him in his place. That hurts a bit, Fire said as he somewhat took the blast as water had made a water shield but it evaporated due to the massive heat of the explosion. And this is why you should listen to me when I say don't rush idiot, Water says with an insult Fire. Who are you calling an idiot? I didn't hear you say anything to me, you idiot. Fire shouted as he glared at Water. I did, Water says with a serious tone. Did not, Fire retorted back. Both opposite elements would start to fight as they fight like two siblings. Oi, what the hell are you two Dekus doing? You're not supposed to fight each other. Katsuki yelled at the two elements as they stopped their sibling fight. Another time? Fire asked as Water nodded in agreement. Katsuki rushed forward again with his right hook ready as Fire prepared a counter. Fire would smirk as he ready a counter again as he tried to grab Katsuki right arm again as Katsuki used his explosion as he moved up as he was behind Fire as he landed a left punch right at Fire's face as the Fire user felt the punch as he held his stomach a bit. Ha, though I'll use that infamous right hook huh. Katsuki would mock Fire as he smirked. It looks like the Pomeranian can learn something new. Fire would retort back as he was ready to beat Katsuki up. The two would fight as now the real battle begins. Water would help support Fire as he kept making Baku soaked with water to lessen his explosion. Katsuki was getting the upper hand, he was winning right now. Bakugou would manage to grab Fire as he threw his body toward water as both elements got pushed back. Ha, did you really think that both of you could win against me? Number 1. What's the point of fighting me? Katsuki smirked as he looked at the two Dekus. Yeah, we know we can't beat you. Fire smiled as he looked at Bakugou. As to why we're here? Both of us are just to distract you, Water would smile as the buzzer would ring. Katsuki looked at the time as they still had 4 minutes left until the timer. With a shocked angry tone, Katsuki would glare at the two elements. The hero team wins, All Might says as he announced that the match has ended and the hero team has won. Few minutes ago after the explosion. With Lightning and Uraraka's side. That idiot, Lightning would grant as he looked mad. He knew the only person who would cause that massive explosion was Bakugou. Lightning, we need to go back to help Fire and Water, Uraraka says to Lightning as she sounded worried. No, we need to find the bomb. If we go back now time would run out. Fire and Water has experienced much worse, those two won't be able to go down that easily. If we go back and help them, they'll start to think we don't trust them. Lightning says as he kept moving. Uraraka was about to say something as Lightning has a point. Uraraka simply nods at the lightning element as they continue the search for the bomb. After getting to the next floor, they found the bomb as they saw Ida guarding it. Bomb found, now we just have to deal with Ida. Any ideas? Uraraka asked as he looked at Lightning. You go for the bomb, I'll get Ida's attention, Lightning says with a serious tone as both him and Uraraka enter the room. Stop right there heroes. You will never defeat me and get the bomb wahahahaha. Ida says as he sounded like a typical Saturday villain. Lightning has a deadpan look on his face as Uraraka would stop herself from laughing. Ida, stop being a weirdo, Lightning says with a somewhat serious tone as Uraraka laughed at Lightning comment. Ida would be shocked as Lightning was right, he was only acting the role of a villain for this match. Do not insult me hero, now then you shall be defeated, Ida used his quirk as he moved towards both Lightning and Uraraka. Lightning would move forward as he rushed towards Ida. Lightning sword, Lightning would summon two swords as he would dual wields as he blocked Ida. It was a battle of speed, Ida would dodge lightning attacks as did Lightning. Uraraka rushed toward the bomb as she reached for it. Ida noticed this as he rushed toward Uraraka. I won't let you take the bomb, hero, Ida says as tries to grab Uraraka. Uraraka manages to evade as she then touches Ida's back. I got you, Uraraka says as she smiles as lightning would leap in the air. Good job, Uraraka. Sorry for this attack, Ida. Lightning would generate yellow lightning at his sword as he would fall toward Ida. Lightning says as he hits Ida with an electric shock as Ida was knocked out. Uraraka would reach towards the bomb as she touched it. I got it, she says with a smile as the buzzer rings. Hero team win, All Might said as he announced the win. Fire, water, and lightning would smile. Awesome, the trio says at the same time as they won. Bakugou would feel rage inside him. I lost to Deku. Out of all people I lost to the useless nerd, Katsuki says as he glared at fire and water. Time skip. A fused Izuku, Ida, Uraraka, and Katsuki would be at the observation room as they stood in front of the class. That was an excellent performance from both teams. But there can only be one MVP and that would be young Uraraka, All Might says to the class with his signature smile. I get it why the hero team has the MVP since they won, but my Uraraka, All Might sensei. So you question. Before I can tell you, does anyone have a guess on why? All Might asked then. Momo would raise her hand. All Might sees Momo raise her hand. Young Yaoyorozu, go ahead, All Might says as he gives Momo the go signal. Sir, I believe Uraraka was the MVP due to her support to Midoriya's plan. Midoriya would have become the MVP if he didn't split into 3 but into 7, although there might be a reason to it as to why he split into 3 instead of 7. We could account that his 7 split is effective in an open area, hence why he split into 3. Momo would say as she was done. She got it all right, All Might said in his thoughts as he kept smiling. He would then cough a bit as he smiled. You got it all right, young Yaoyorozu. What she said was all true. If young Midoriya would have split into 7, the time to finish would be less than it is now. All in all, it was a good result. Nice work, All Might would give both teams a thumbs up as he kept smiling. Hee, awesome, Izuku would smile as he was happy they won. Though he still needs to train a lot in order for him to last his hepta split much longer. Ojiro and Hagakure would be in a room as they were the villains for this match. Their plan was somewhat solid as Hagakure plans to sneak up on Shoji and Shoto while Ojiro would protect the bomb. It didn't go too well as Shoto used his quirk to freeze both teams and capture the bomb. The other team would win while some would lose. This was a learning experience for them as they all learned today's heroics. Time skip at the end of class. Izuku would be walking his way to his grandpa Kasa's shop. Hey Deku-kun, wait up, Izuku would hear Uraraka's voice as he turned around as he saw her with Ida, Tokoyami, and Yaoyorozu. Oh hi you guys, Izuku smiles as he was happy to see his friend. Going to your grandfather's shop, Midoriya? Ida would ask the green-haired boy with a white hair tip. Yup, actually I'm heading toward the storage room to check on supplies, Izuku says. He already taught his friend the secret codes like the Kokowa, which was the code to enter the underground tap-op space and storage room where the power sphere that had been found on Earth are kept inside in a vault. Today was Izuku Day to check the log and to see if any of the power spheres are still there. We can help you out. The sooner you're done we can train a bit, Yaoyorozu says as she has a point. They are still learning how to use the power watch given to them by Akabat. They're still struggling a bit. Yaoyorozu has a point. We need to learn some new hero moves, Tokoyami says. Alright then let's go, Izuku would say as he smiles. The group of 5 would then head to the Coco shop as they're ready to do some serious training with their new powers. Katsuki would be walking his way home as he was still mad at today's heroics class. Deku had won against him, which somewhat broke Bakugou's pride a bit. Can't believe I lost to that useless Deku out of all people, Katsuki's tone was rageful as he kept walking home. A masked individual would notice Katsuki as he was watching him for a long time now. I have found someone to be my successor, just like you, Amato, the masked individual said as he would disappear from the building he was standing. On the night streets of Kamino, a certain blue-haired villain with hands around his upper body was sitting at the front bar with a drink in his hand and a newspaper article about All Might at a certain hero school. Did you see this joke? The young villain questioned as he put his glass on top of the newspaper as it was now wet. It said he's a teacher now, the villain, as he wasn't alone. A mist-like bartender stood at the front of the bar as he looked at the young villain, and behind him was a black bird-like creature with an exposed brain. Hey, what do you think will happen? If the mighty symbol of peace. The young man's eyes are red like blood as a hand covers his face. Is finally killed by the villains, the young villain said as he can't help but smile at his idea. Izuku was in the front door as he would start to put his shoes on. Did you bring everything you need, dear? Inko would ask his son as she smiles. Yes, Mom, I got everything packed as usual, Izuku replies as he smiles. He then stood up as he finally wore his red shoes. Izuku, wait a minute, I need to check your power watch, Akabot says. Izuku nods as he lets Akabot check his power watch. It looks like your tier 2 power will be coming out today or tomorrow, but you need to be really careful, you can't overuse your powers, Akabot says to Izuku. Izuku understands as he nods at Akabot. Alright, I got it. Promise I won't go overboard, Izuku nods as he smiles. He soon quickly left his home. He would board the train to UA as he kept smiling. Time skip. As Izuku arrived at school, he then saw many reports in the front gate of UA. Hey you there, a reporter would approach Izuku. Izuku was about to walk away as the reporter caught up to him. What does it feel like to be one of All Might's students at UA? The reporter asked. Sorry, I need to go now before I arrive late for class, Izuku would say with a smile as he would make an excuse to leave the reporter. As Izuku leaves, he then sees Ida talking to the reporter as he answers their questions like a pro. All Might is a wonderful instruction, we've learned quite a lot from him during our heroics class, Ida answers as he notices Izuku. Midoriya, good to see you arrive early. This is what a heroics student should be doing. Ida says as he smiles as he does his signature karate chop as he smiles. Thanks, Ida. Come on, we need to get going before Aizawa-sensei arrives at. Arrives at what? Izuku felt a shiver down his spine as he looked back as he saw Aizawa behind him. Hi sensei, I was just saying to Ida that we should go to the classroom before homeroom starts, Izuku responded as he nervously laughed. Izuku can sometimes feel like Aizawa-sensei was like Admiral Tarongs. Aizawa would let out a deep sigh. Then go, you're wasting time standing here, Aizawa would say. Izuku nods as he and Ida would go straight back to class. Excuse me, can we ask for an interview for All Might, a reporter asked Aizawa as she looked at the hobo-like man who was clearly tired. Sorry but All Might is off campus. Stop bothering the students, Aizawa entered the school ground as the reporter tried to go inside. All of a sudden the UA barrier activates as the reporter almost got hit. Hey, what was that? Don't you know that the UA barrier, those who aren't a student or have a pass to enter you can't enter? We've been here 2 days now, that kind of system could kill someone, UA should give me an interview, the reporter said as in the very back a blue-haired man with a jacket would be smiling menacingly. Time skip. I've reviewed your results from yesterday class. Aizawa says as he looks at the class with his serious face as always. Bakugou, stop sulking around, you're good but that attitude of yours needs to go, Aizawa says to him. Bakugou would click his tongue as he was still pissed. Yes sir, he simply said as he doesn't want to anger the underground hero. Midoriya, you did good work but your splitting needs more work. Find a way to not split into 7 when it comes to situations like that. If you had split into 7 instead of 3 your team would have found the bomb and prevented Bakugou from using his massive explosion, Aizawa would point out. Understood Aizawa-sensei, Izuku nods as he would understand. He kept smiling as he knew he needed to improve his energy consumption. If he wants to MSTR his elemental power he needs to learn how to properly use it. Now on to the next task that would determine all your faith, the the moment Aizawa says this the whole class started to get nervous thinking it might be another quirk apprehension test. You need to pick a class representative, Aizawa would says. Oh, a normal class actively, everyone in the class muttered except for Katsuki and Shoto. It's up to you to decide who, you have until the end of this PRD. I'll go take a nap so you all better do it quietly, Aizawa would say as he would immediately put on his sleeping bag. Pick me to be class rep, I'm manly, no it should be the one with the pink skin, pick me, I'm glamorous, everyone I'm the class would start to choose themselves as they want to be class representative. Alright everyone, since no one can't agree on who should be class rep let's put it up to a vote, Ida would say as he smiles. Wouldn't anyone just vote for themselves? Kyoka said as she had a point. True, but what other choice do we have? I say Ida's idea is better than none. Plus homeroom is going to end soon and Aizawa-sensei is gonna be annoyed if we don't choose now, Izuku says. Alright then guess we're voting, Kaminari says as everyone agrees to vote for class rep. Time skip. Izuku saw his name on the board as he was shocked, how in the world did he get 4 votes? Who the H voted DKU? Katsuki roared furiously as he glared at the green-haired boy. Dude it better than him than you to be class rep, Siro says as he smiled as most of the class agreed. I only got a single vote, well I picked a fair system regardless. Midoriya you're now class rep, Ida says as he smiles as he looks at his friend with an approved smile. Izuku was still shocked, how? He muttered as he still couldn't believe it. Yeah I can see Midoriya bro as the class rep, Kirishima says as he smiles. Not only that, Yaoyorozu is the vice rep, Kaminari said. Alright now that's done, Midoriya will be the class rep and Yaoyorozu will be the vice rep from this moment on, Aizawa would say as Izuku's face was still shocked. Small time skip. Izuku would be at the cafeteria with Uraraka, Ida, Yaoyorozu, and Tokoyami as they would eat lunch together. The rice is super good, Uraraka says as she smiles as she would enjoy a bowl of rice. She then noticed Izuku was a bit worried. You okay Deku-kun? She asked. Izuku snapped out from his busy train of thought as he heard Uraraka. I'm fine, I'm just worried about being class rep and all. I don't think I'm really good for the job, Izuku says as he downplays himself. Nonsense, you're a good leader Midoriya. In dangerous situations you're calmer and think strategically. You're fit to be class rep, Ida says to Izuku. Ida is right, you have first-hand experience when it comes to doing hero work, Momo says as she does have a point. True, but I mostly have my superior with me during my missions. Plus I always follow their orders and I always ask for help, Izuku says to them. A true leader knows when he needs help, you don't deny any help given to you nor don't ask. The others are correct, this is the reason why I voted for you, Tokoyami says. Wait, Tokoyami you were one of the 4 votes? Izuku asked. Ah, good to know it wasn't only me in the group that voted Izuku, Ida would say. You too Ida. I thought you wanted to be class rep. That's why I voted for you, Izuku was surprised to hear that Ida voted for him. Yes I do. I voted for you because of your qualities of being a hero and also your bravery, Ida says. I agree with Ida, you're a great leader Deku, that's why I voted for you. During yesterday's class you made a plan in order for us to win, Uraraka says. Uraraka-san is correct. You've earned my vote because of those reasons, Yaoyorozu adds. Izuku can't help but let out a tear of joy, he was truly thankful for his friend's support. Thanks you guys, Izuku says as he wipes his tears as he smiles. Anywho. Midoriya, I wanted to ask. What was your reason for becoming a hero in the first place? Ida would ask. Well, my dad is a rescue kind of hero. I don't get to see him all the time but each time I watch the news I see him saving people with a smile. Not only that but, I was also impressed by All Might saving people with a smile. I guess I wanted to be a hero just like them, Izuku says. How about you Ida? Why did you want to become a hero? Uraraka asked. Well my family are a history of heroes, from what I always see from the agency they always have the heart of a hero. You could say I was like Midoriya here, following in the family footsteps, Ida says. Agency, wait Ida, are you related to Ingenium? Izuku asked. Yes, I'm. He's my older brother. It's also one of the reasons why I wanted to be a hero. Ida says as he smiles. Just as the group continues to talk, the alarm would activate. Warning level 3 security breach, please evacuate in an orderly fashion, the school announcement system said as the student have a panic face as they rush a bit. Ida would look at a third year as he asked. What's a level 3 security breach? Ida would ask. It means someone has managed to enter the school's barrier. It hasn't happened to me in my 3 years here. We should get going, the student says as he rushed out. It's a total mob, Uraraka says, as expected of UA students they're quick to react, Ida would say. No, it's a panic. Can someone look at the outside window and see what is going on? Izuku would ask as Ida took action as he looked outside as he saw the media. It's just the media, I was afraid it was some sort of attack. Everyone calm down, it's just the media, Ida would say as no one could hear what Ida just said. Everyone to panic, Izuku would try to reach his power watch as he was unable to reach it. What do I do, how can I stop the panic? Izuku would think as he noticed Uraraka was close by. Izuku reached toward Uraraka. Uraraka-san, I want you to make me float, Izuku would then say as he got an idea. Right, Uraraka would then reach onto Izuku's hand as she used her quirk on him as Izuku started to float. Elemental power, Izuku would press a button on his watch. Leaf. Creeping vines, Izuku then says as he threw a vine toward a pipe as he would be in the front of the crowd. Everyone calm down, it's just the media outside. No need to be worried, Izuku says as he smiles as he would still hold the vine he made as everyone calmed down. Look, the police are here, a student says as everyone would calm down. Aw, can someone help me down? I'm kinda stuck, he. Izuku would nervously laugh as he scratched his back hair as he looked at everyone. The vines on his hand were a bit tight as he was unable to get unbind. At the front gates of UA, Principal Nizu would be there alongside with Power Loader and Cementos. Looks like the media could have done this, Cementos said as Aizawa and Present Mike were done dealing with the media. What quirk could have done this? Power Loader would Wanderers. Looks like a dust storm hit the front gate. Do you think it's a sign, sir? Aizawa asked Nizu as he looked at the principals of UA. It could be, this might be a declaration of war, tell the staff to be alert, make sure to keep the student calm, Nizu would say to the teachers as they nod. Time skip. Everyone in Class 1A would be back at the classroom as the situation has calmed down. Midoriya and Yaoyorozu would be on the front of the class as they are ready to be the class representative. Midoriya, you're up, Momo says as she looks at Izuku as they need to pick their class officers. Today, we'll be picking our class officers, but before that I would like to say a few words, Izuku would say as everyone in the class would look at him. Earlier today, I felt like I shouldn't be the class representative, but thanks to my friends they encouraged me to be the class rep. I promise to be the class rep you all need for this class year. Not only that, I've decided who would be part of the class officers, Izuku says as his voice sounded happy and a bit of confidence. Ida-san, Uraraka-san, and Tokoyami-san. I would like the three of you to be the class officers. It was thanks to you guys for encouraging me to be class rep, and you too, Yaoyorozu-san. I want you guys to lend me your support and I'll do my best to be the class representative that everyone would need, Izuku says as his voice sounded determined. I accept your offer, Midoriya, Ida would say as he adjusted his glasses as he smiled. I'm all in. I'll help you out, Deku-kun, Uraraka would say with a smile. Understood, Tokoyami nods. Alright, now that's done you both can take your seats, Aizawa would say as Izuku and Momo went back to their seats. Today's heroics class would be different, everyone will be going to a facility for today's class. This time it would be rescue training, you all have the option to wear your hero costume or not. Not only that, All Might and another teacher will be there on the site. Aizawa would press a button as the suitcases would come out of the wall. Rescue training, awesome, Izuku says with a big smile on his face. He was excited for this class. He always loved saving people as he was looking forward to this class. At another location, a villain would be seen holding 3 hostages in his right arm and Kamui Woods would be on the scene with another hero as they are somewhat injured. One step closer and I'll kill this whole family. You heroes don't want the BLD of this family to be on your hand, the villain would say as he was prepared to kill the family. Never fear, dear citizens. Missouri Smash, All Might would be up in the air as he put his left arm on his side as he performed a powerful chop on the villain as he knocked the villain down, saving the civilians. I am here to keep you safe, even if I'm on my way to work, All Might says as he smiles as he puts the family of 3 down. Ah, a hit and run, someone screamed as All Might heard. I should be late but I can't leave someone alone, All Might says as he then leaps into the air as he keeps smiling. All Might would notice he has become slower now. I've clearly gotten slower, my power has been weakening even faster since I gave my quirk to young Midoriya. I've pushed my hero form past the limit. All Might says in his thought as he would think back at the time during the sludge villain incident. Not only that, but fighting that sludge villain also decreases my time limit as the symbol of peace, All Might thought as he would stop the hit and run. There is a hostage situation nearby, a civilian said as Toshinori would quickly act as he heads to the scene. Unbeknownst to the pro hero, he was being watched from a far distance. Toshi, you've become weaker, the masked individual said as he would notice Toshinori becoming weaker by the day. Time skip. Alright, everyone for a single line before you enter the bus, Ida said as he was doing his first-class officer's work. Izuku would loom at the inside of the bus as he noticed that it was a single side seat. It's a 2-line Ida. All the sites are all on the sides, Izuku says. Ida would look at the inside as Izuku was right. Very well, form a 2-line to enter the bus, Ida would say again as everyone would enter the bus in an orderly fashion manner. The bus would start moving as Izuku would be sitting next to Uraraka and Ida as he was beaming with excitement. Wow, this is the first time I've seen Deku-kun smile like that, Uraraka says. Today's class is rescue training, I've been looking forward to this day ever since I stepped foot at UA. It's the class I was looking forward, Izuku says as he smiles. Hey Midoriya, can I ask a question, Ribbit? Tsuyu asked as she looked at the green-haired boy. Sure Tsuyu, what is it you want to ask? Izuku would ask her as he smiles. Call me Tsu Ribbit. As for my question, I can't help but notice you don't use your split ability that much, Ribbit. It is very useful to split into 7 while fighting someone and searching, Ribbit. Tsuyu would ask Izuku. Well Tsu, to answer your question, if I use my split ability for too long I could end up getting amnesia, which is very dangerous for me and exhausts my energy. Izuku tells her. Memory loss? How so? Kirishima asked. When I was a kid I used to only have 3 elements, when I split into 3 for too long I always get amnesia, or when my split was a bit farther from each other, I got amnesia too. There were times I lost control of my power, thankfully it hasn't happened. When I split it always drains my energy, think of my split as 3 people working using a single body, Izuku would say. I see now, so when you split into 3 or 7, your body is connected into the numbers of split and they act as a signal for your memories. If one of them goes a bit too far they start to forget. That would also explain why you're careful when you split into 3 or 7 inch. Yaoyorozu would fully grasp what Izuku had said. That manly, you quirk is awesome compared to mine, it's not flashy, Kirishima says. Hey, don't downplay your quirk, Kirishima-san, your quirk is awesome. You like an indestructible shield. My grandpa always says, one's own power can be cool or not, what's important is how a person is able to use their powers and how they mstr it, Izuku would say with a smile. Men that are so manly, you grandpa sure is a manly dude, Kirishima says as he has a few tears of joy as he smiles. Speaking of flash quirk, Todoroki and Bakugou quirk are flashy. Though I don't think Bakugou would be a pro due to his attitude, Tsuyu says. What did you say? Katsuki yelled out as he glared at Tsuyu. See what I mean? The rest of the class would laugh. Wow, everyone is making fun of bakugou now, Izuku says in his thoughts. Izuku felt his life had turned into a complete 180-degree. If he was back in Aldera, Katsuki would be praised as Izuku would be made fun of. Alright, everyone stop chit-chatting, we're here, Aizawa would say as the bus would stop. Everyone would come out of the bus as they saw as dome building. Hello everyone, the Space Hero 13 would say as she would greet everyone. Wow, it's the Space Hero 13. A rescue hero that saved so many people across the world. Izuku's face was beaming with excitement. Yeah, 13 is one of my favorite heroes, Uraraka says as she smiles. I can't wait to show you what's inside, 13 said with an excited voice as everyone entered the building. Thing are going to be awesome, everyone said except for Todoroki and bakugou. It looks like some sort of amusement park, Zero would say. A shipwreck, a landslide, a fire, a windstorm, etc. I created this training facility to prepare students in diffraction type of disasters. I call it the Unforeseen Simulation Joint. You can call it USJ, 13 says with an exciting tone in her voice. Wow, it's kinda like the Universe Japan studio, everyone would say in their thoughts as Izuku would be smiling with joy. Awesome, he then said as he seems to be excited to start. Shouldn't All Might be here already? Let me guess he booked an interview instead, Aizawa asked 13 with an unamused face. The principals called me saying All Might used up all his power doing hero work. He's resting in the teacher lounge, 13 would say. That man is the height of irresponsibility, Aizawa says as he would look at the class. We should be okay with just the two of us, he then thought as he lets out a small sign. Clock is ticking, we should get started, he then said. Wonderful, before we start let me say two things, possible 3 or 4 or 5, 13 says as she kept the positive vibes. Listen carefully, I'm sure you already know about my quirk black hole. I can use it to SCK up anything and turn it into dust, 13 would say to the class. It's also thanks to your quirk that you've saved so many lives, Izuku would say. That's true, but my quirk can also be used to kill someone, 13 would say as the rest of the class would be somewhat shocked. Some of you also have quirk that can be dangerous. In our superhuman society, all quirk certified and regulated, it can also be overlooked how unsafe it can actually be. Please don't forget, if you lose focus or make a slightest wrong move it could be deadly. Even if you're trying to do something good like rescuing someone. Thanks to both Aizawa fitness test and All Might combat training, you all know how strong your quirk is and how it can be dangerous to use it on someone else, 13 would say. Izuku would look at his power watch as he remembers the time he lost control over his wind element when it unlocked its tier 2 power. Sure, there was the time with lightning, but he was fully in control, but his memory had some trouble due to the first unlock of his tier 2 power. Those lessons would be carried out in this class. Today's lesson is for you to learn how to save someone's life using your quirks. You won't be using your powers to attack enemies nor each other but only to help. That is also what being a hero is and is all about. To ensure the safety of others, 13 says. Understood, Izuku would say as he smiles. If he was still a kid and is here in this class, he knew he would be scared since he was scared to lose control over his elemental powers. Not he wasn't, he was braver and strong now. Sure, he hasn't acquired his tier 3 power, but he was determined to MSTR his powers, just like his grandpa Kasa did during his time when he wielded the crystal elemental power alongside his grandma Rihanna, who wielded the Voltra elemental power. Thank you so much for listening, 13 would bow as everyone would cheer in excitement. Right now that over, as Aizawa was about to say something, some of the light went off as a strange purple mist would appear in the middle of the USJ. Aizawa would turn around as he saw the mist, as he saw villains coming out. Stay together and don't move, 13 protect the students, Aizawa said as he quickly acted as if he was ready to fight. Wait, has the training started? I thought we were rescuing people, Kirishima says as he tries to take a better look closer as Aizawa stopped him. Stay back, he then said with a bit of an angry tone as he put on his goggles. This is real, those are villain, he then said, as everyone would be shocked to hear was Aizawa just said. On that day, we thought we were going to be practicing saving people's lives. But when they appeared, we all realized we were all in danger. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 3. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Spider-Man Greninja MK2BM on fanfiction.net. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.